Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis. And breaking scoreboard, Simone of the Olympics. Defense and big business, the Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer.
DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. Man, what's really good, all right? So, right now we going over offense and defensive coordinators, head coaching style, front office so far in this offseason, and just a little quick run through. Just, from the moves that's being made and how things are coming together, what's going on. And, let's see how it goes. All right, so I am DeeTrynt. This is Game Changer Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. All right, and if you're looking at this on Spotify or Facebook or Twitter or anything, make sure you go on all the other social platforms and subscribe to us and check out the previous two videos that I had going over the offensive defense before I got to this point of the talk. So this is a big year for Coach Kevin Stefanski. This is also a big year for defensive coordinator Joe Woods. These two in particular run the offense and defense. They call the plays. They have the final say-so on what happens on those sides of the ball in game. So this is a big year for these two because they have some stability. They've had a few years to implement their style, their system, get on what they want to be on, and it seems to be going pretty well for them. Andrew Berry, as an executive or front office leader, has done very well, I think, in bringing in talent, acquiring talent, not going over the budget, getting what's needed, and still leaving room for players to grow. Specifically with the receiver room and the linebacker room, right? There's a lot of room for growth in those two areas, but there are a lot of talented guys down there that's getting the fight for them. And that's cool because they're surrounded with, like on the offense, the receiver is surrounded by a good line, a good quarterback, and a good running game. So if that's the area you want to lead to let somebody earn their money, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? As far as the defense goes, you got a good offensive line concept, you know what I'm saying, with talented players to anchor it. You know what I'm saying? And you got a high quality defensive backfield that can really take a lot of people out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Really cause havoc down here. So your linebacking core, if that's the core that needs to just, get its game up, then, that's kind of cool because, a lot of teams play to take the linebackers out of the game. And if you just have to pick on the linebackers and we know where you're going, hey, so it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Stefanski changes his playing style, which I think you're going to see. What's crazy is you probably still going to see a lot of shotgun, but I think you're going to see a lot of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb playing together with one tight end, or them two playing together with three receivers. Having David Njoku is like having another receiver on the field. So you could see them, if they get creative, you could see them come out in wishbone formations where you could shift David Njoku in so many different places, or you could shift and move Kareem Hunt out wide and then shift David Njoku down. You could have Amari Cooper out here, but depending on the defense, you could have a David Bell, or you could have a Donovan Peoples-Jones, or you could have an Anthony Schwartz, or you could have a Harrison Bryant. Because, Deshaun Watson is such a good quarterback, it leaves a lot of room for imagination. You just have to have the talent. And looking at what he played with Deshaun, speaking on what he played with in Houston, when he had a speedy receiver. So you got Anthony Schwartz, who got a chance to prove himself, and then you got the rookie Isaiah Wester, who got a chance to prove himself. All right, but it's going to be interesting to see how even more creative they get with Kevin Stefanski get with the formations, especially his implementation of Jakeem Grant, because Jakeem Grant is a game breaker. He is a guy that if he gets in the open field, he's going to cause damage. So there's going to be specific plays just for Jakeem Grant against certain offenses. Against certain defenses, especially when the running game is really potent. And that screen gonna work, or that delay, to get somebody open and let them work, and then that still leave room for the other young receivers to show what they can do too. As far as that defense go, getting Jadeveon Clowney back is going to be really, really, really important. I'm say this is Taven Bryan right there, and then to put so the linebackers. If Anthony Walker is a tackle guy, I hope you got your strength up from last year, because you're going to be getting a lot of tackles. Jacob Phillips, is you that guy? It's going to be room for a lot of tackles. And that's for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, because he's probably going to be in charge of really tackling guys out the backfield or who get it on delays. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Walker going to be in between the tackles, and Jacob Phillips probably going to be on the outside getting tackles. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you really want to be able to leave your defensive backs to do what they do and defend in the secondary. You don't want them to have to come up. You want them to have to hit guys that they didn't know they was coming. You were still worried about these guys. You forgot this guy was coming. You know what I'm saying? We need that type of work. But it's gonna be interesting to see if Woods can up his formations, man. I think, unlike, and it's crazy because I think Coach Kevin Stefanski is very excited with the formations, man. What is up, bro? It's very, excuse me, y'all. It's very excited with the formations. You know what I'm saying? But Joe Woods seems a little plain. He seems a little regular with the formations. And, if anybody on his coaching staff was on the hot seat, it's probably going to be Joe Woods. Not because he's necessarily doing a bad job, but on the strength of where's your imagination. You could see the imagination with Kevin Stefanski and how we call the plays, and how even the game plan was scripted up by Alex Van Pelt. So, on offense, they got a system, right? Alex Van Pelt comes up with it, and Kevin Stefanski called the plays. So what is Joe Woods gonna do on defense, right? Are you going to get you a guy? Is Chris Griffin that guy for you? Is there a guy on this staff for you that could do that for you? Help come up with a defensive game plan. Do you need to do? Does Andrew Berry need to bring in a guy to help you with that? And then you call the plays. And then two, special teams. Okay. The fact that we got a lot of mainstay guys, you know what I'm saying? You can go up and down the list of guys that for a fact is more than 50% chance they make this team, barring injury, trade, exotic offer trade, whatever the case. These guys is coming. So now all the extra guys they really bringing in are guys that's going to be specialty specific guys and guys that can play special teams. You got your Jakeem Grant. You drafted K. Ewell to basically put some type of solution, to the two biggest parts of your special teams, which is return yards and place kicking, field goal kicking, scoring points from there. All right. If the punter can come in and give this defense, field position, man, Joe Woods got to be able to get exotic with the plays. But Mike Pfeiffer got to be able to produce something with the special teams. And it looked like, from the look of things, he's going to have a long list of selection of guys that he thinks that's going to help his special teams be one of the better special teams units in the NFL. Because usually the Browns have a good special teams, well, at least return. But now, you looking up and down the list. A guy like Willie Harvey, who's been here, he can end up, on the special teams unit if he stay. You know what I'm saying? You got Meter down here. You got, Richard LeCount, who probably gonna play some of that. You got maybe a Jerome Ford or Demetri Felton who gonna play some of that. You got a couple offensive linemen. And this is why I know they're gonna keep the young linemen, because the young lineman can get in shape through the season by playing one or two spots on the special teams, or three, whether it be field goal kicking or punt blocking for when they punt, you know what I mean? Or, even just being out there on the kickoff return as a blocker, being able to run up and down and get on that first line of defense. You know what I'm saying? Or first line of blocking on the kickoff. Whatever the case is, though. This special teams unit has to be impactful this year. And the lack of a special teams unit could magnify a situation on the offense or defense that probably don't need to be magnified. You know what I mean? So, I said we need a new special teams coach. We done had this guy for a minute. I argue we should be bringing in Joshua Cribbs or something to help on the special teams unit coaching side, a guy who is a mean tackler and a mean returner. You know what I'm saying? You got Phil Dawson. I think guys like that should be added to this staff to help that special teams. You know what I'm saying? To help with the kicking, to help with the tackling and return and the angles and the figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need those type of guys. So will Andrew Berry do that? Will Joe Woods or Mike Pfeiffer make those suggestions? What will they do? What will the play calling be like? How fancy and extravagant can it be? Can we be a team that could put up 40 points and hold you to under 10 or under 7? You know what I'm saying? Do we have that type of team? Do we have this type of team for the next 4, 5, 6 years? But we don't really know, man. We're going to find out very soon. I am DeeTrynt. This is Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports, for another episode of Game Changer Sports Talk. All right. Follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and various other streaming sites. All right. It was a pleasure talking to you all. Make sure you all check out the old episodes and the prior episodes just to see how I get down or whatever the case. Give us your feedback. Always welcome to come join in when you catch us live, man. It's been real. Yo.